Thank you, Dr. Wang. And we have a beautiful expression like last but not the least, but I'm last and the least. So just relax and have some fun. It will be short. So when I talk about my career, people tell me like I'm a cycle hitter. Do you like baseball? Cycle hit is in one game you hit first base, second base, third base, and home run all together. And first sector is the government, second sector is business, third sector is the nonprofit, fourth sector, some say it's the press, the media. And I started my career in the media as a journalist. I wrote articles and columns in newspapers, and I am now working for the Hope Institute, which is a nonprofit think tank in Korea. And I used to work for Samsung Economic Research Institute, which is one of the largest corporations in Korea. So I only have just first base hit to make this cycle hit. But I tried once as an advisor for a presidential candidate, but he didn't make it. So while navigating all the sectors, what I felt was these people in business, about their ends and means, about their objectives and about their means. Businesses have very clear ends and very clear means. You want to make profits, that's your ends. And you want to sell your products to consumers, that's your means. Very simple. But when it comes to politics or the social sector, objectives are very messy, very complex, and means are very messy too. So when I found this word, social innovation or social enterprise, I found that very attractive because this cross-sector approach is trying to make these messy ends and messy means to a little bit clearer. And that's a real paradigm shift because when objectives are very messy, in terms of public policy, it becomes harder compliance because you spend money, but objectives are not very clear and means are not very clear. You need to check all the spending, right? You need to check all the receipts you present as an NGO to the government after spending government money. So if you make these means and ends a little clearer, it can change the paradigm from compliance paradigm to investment paradigm. When you invest in a company, you don't ask the company to present your receipts, right? You don't ask Samsung Electronics or Alibaba or Sony to present the receipt they spend for their dinner as an investor, right? So that's very important piece of talk today. That's what I felt while I was listening to our entrepreneur, scientist, and venture philanthropist, Lance First. And also I was listening to Ito Ken, who's my dearest friend from Japan, and Professor Ra Junyoung from Korea. They talk about entrepreneurship. They talk about SROI and social impact measurement. And that's all from this investment mindset, investment paradigm, as a public policy terms. So I promise to be very short, so I will just conclude a little bit. So, Korea, getting back to this Korean context, Korea was very fast in legislation. In 2007, Korea enacted the Social Enterprise Supporting Act, and then it's been like several years. And thinking about the current problems in Korea and what people were thinking about at the time, going back to Dr. Wang Yunjong's comment in a previous session, he talked about the highest suicidal rate in Korea. But it's very surprising, right? Korea has done all the things Western civilization taught us. Korea had this economic growth phenomenally. And Korea had this industrial revolution. Korea had a civil revolution, so it had democracy, it had economic growth, it has global companies, but suicide rate is the highest in the world. So this paradox, I think the serious Korean scholars like Professor Ra or Dr. Wang, Professor Zhou were thinking about. So this is a very new try to change the public policy paradigm from compliance to investment, because compliance paradigm didn't solve those problems, even though we achieved those phenomenal economic growth. So I really want to tell my Chinese friends here that if you want to enhance social entrepreneurship, social enterprise in China, you need to think about this. If it continues to be a compliance paradigm, if you work with the government, it will fail. It's not going to work. So if you want to work with the government, it's okay. But you need to persuade them to change the paradigm. So the government is always tends to be compliance paradigm. So you need to persuade them to change their paradigm into investment paradigm. So invest in risk and take the risk and wait a little bit until this social entrepreneurship wins. So thank you very much.